Hello, I'm Mr. Roach, Michael Roach. This is my chemistry class. These are some recreations of me by my students on the whiteboard or cake pop or as a holiday decoration. I am most importantly in my class, I want to make sure everyone is treating me and everyone else with kindness, respect, and honesty. That's sort of the trinity of this class. I will be grading daily work hopefully Monday through Thursday, although we're learning that might change. Basically, anything we do during the day is 40% of your grade, and then there will be some sort of assessment. We'll usually use KIA, is what I'm understanding. It's my first year here, so bear with me. And that'll be 60% of the grade. All assessments will be open note. We assume that of everybody. So it should be a little bit less strenuous than years in the past because you'll be able to have things out in front of you. You'll have your notes out in front of you. So hopefully the testing this year goes a little smoother than what perhaps you may have heard about chemistry in the past. There won't be as much memorization for sure. We'll be meeting at the beginning of the assigned period. That seems to be fine with everyone who's answered the response that I asked. And office hours then will be in the second part. And most evenings I'm available. They can email me or what, and we can discuss as they need it. Supplies, they'll definitely need a notebook to be taking down things, and they'll need a calculator with a log button. I can help them figure out their calculator. I learn more and more that that's the biggest part of getting through this course is understanding how your calculator works and how to make it, how to read what it's saying. All right, a little bit about my background. I'm from New York originally. I came down to North Carolina because I really did not like New York. I went to UNC and never went back. So I got degrees in chemistry and English at UNC, and then did some research for a little bit, and then went to Ohio State. My wife and I, who met at UNC, went to Ohio State together to do graduate's work. I got a master's in chemistry at Ohio State, and then I spent 2 years um, teaching at the Wellington School in Ohio. I taught all levels of chemistry there. The company I used to work for paid to move us back, so I got back into research when we moved back from Ohio to North Carolina. And then toward the end of my career there, I started to take classes at the NC State University for science education. I got my master's in science education last year, I think is when it officially happened. So I was doing that in addition to teaching. So I've actually been back in teaching for 5 years now. My first job back after doing research was middle school math, which was great for the year I did it. And then chemistry opened up and I was doing chemistry. So, by the way, the no drugs is a symbol. The research I was doing was researching drug addiction and ways to cure or prevent drug addiction. So, I always kind of joke that I'm the reverse of the Breaking Bad guy. All right. So, the goal of this course, one of the mentors in my life said basically my job as a high school chemistry teacher is to get kids excited enough to take chemistry in high school in college, I mean. So that is where I'm headed. That's what I've tried to do in this class. I have YouTube videos. The school I used to work at, kids didn't really come to school, and then they'd come in after missing a couple days and say, hey, what I missed. So I ended up making YouTube videos of everything I did in class so that I could just direct them that way. So I have over 180 videos, I think, now, mostly because I keep changing my mind how I want to do it, and I don't want to take anything down in case I change my mind again. But YouTube videos are available for everything I do in class. And I also follow the advice of the first person, the person who actually convinced me to leave research and get into teaching at that middle school math job. And she told me I'm a scientist. I should just do experiments. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. To that end, here is a picture of Kitty Hawk in North Carolina. I did this, I went by myself while my family was on vacation because they didn't like history, I guess. And this rock here is where the airplane started to take off. And I love that they have three rocks here. These are the three times that the plane crashed. The actual historic flight is marked by a monument here at the tree line, but they actually put markers where the plane did not successfully go to its mark. And that is what science is. If I got frustrated or upset or quit after being a chemist when something didn't work, I would not have lasted long as a chemist. experiments don't work. I just recently watched a documentary about the Disney Imagineers, and they said, if we're not failing, we're not learning. And that's basically what the point of this picture is. If they didn't learn from these mistakes, they would have never been able to get to the tree line. So I want kids to understand that if it doesn't work, it's okay. Let's learn from it. That's what we need to do. So in the class, in the school where I was, I asked students at the end of the year some questions. This is one where I asked them, would they agree or disagree? Is their grade a reflection of how much effort they put in? As you can see, between strongly agree and agree, we have 77%, almost 78% said that they agree or strongly agree that their grade was a reflection of how much effort they put in. To put that in perspective, if you're wondering about that other little piece, I asked the same group, are birds real? So I couldn't even get 78% to say birds are real, and yet I was able to get a 78% to say that their grade was a reflection of their effort. So that wasn't as bad as it looks. And here again, I asked students as they were coming in, how do they feel about their math? And you can see that a lot of people that I've dealt with struggle with middle school math. That's okay. I'm used to handling that. I hope to be able to address some of those things, but they have to talk to me, and that's the key. So the last thing I was telling the students is that learning is uncomfortable, that if they lived in a cave and they never went out of the cave because they were afraid, they were comfortable in the cave, they would never learn anything. They could be very close to some beautiful waterfall or a place where they could get some more food or whatever. You have to experiment. You have to get out there. You have to, it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be new, but that's how you learn. So sometimes during this year, they may be like, everything he's telling me, I'm not getting it. It's okay. That's part of the learning process. Your brain sort of rejects things initially, and then it gets used to it. And then what I told them to do was hold their hands basically clasped together and then move the fingers over one and see if that feels a little different. It's going to feel a little different because it's not what they're used to, but that's okay. All right, so I will let you pause this as you will. These are what the high school students said about the class that I've taught for 4 years. I also teach online at Wake Tech. So these are what some students said about the job I do at Wake Tech, which is online as well. And the last thing I showed students, this is my name, Michael Roach. And through basically the beauty of the internet when it first came out, I was able to find out that you can rearrange the letters and spell chemical hero. So I told the kids, don't worry about it. It's a slam dunk this year. So I hope that is a little introduction to me, and I look forward to teaching this year at Leesville.